All right, and we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. I can get the poll to close. There we are. Welcome to our very first webinar series of 2023 for our NCAC summer camping, specifically on Cub Scout programs. My name is Elizabeth Warren, and I am your Goshen Scout Reservation Director, so I have the joy and privilege of overseeing all 5 of the summer camps down at the Goshen Scout Reservation. I'm going to go ahead and help to introduce our panelists for today. We've got presence from Camp Snyder, as well as Camp Ross and our district day camps. So I'm going to pass it over to Drew to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, my name is Drew Goshen. I am the camp director at Camp Ross for this summer. I'm happy to be here.
Let's pass it over to Ryan. Ryan, you're muted.
Of course. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Alford. I work out at Camp Snyder full-time, the ranger out here, and then also help with summer camp operations and anything else that's needed.
And Kelly?
There we go. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly. I am the council program director. You probably won't see me at day camp, but I will try to be around, and I am just supporting all the district day camps and their individual directors.
And last but not least, Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sarah Moses. I am the Goshen camping specialist.
Wonderful. So some of you may have been to some of our council camps in the past, others maybe not, but we're happy to welcome you either way, both beginners as well as veteran Cub Scout campers. NCAC itself has a multitude of different camping options for you and your scouts this year. We have our district day camps that are held independently by multiple districts throughout the council. We have Camp William B. Snyder in Haymarket, Virginia, which operates both day camp and resident camp weekends. And then we have Camp Ross, part of the Goshen Scout Reservation in Goshen, Virginia, which is a camp for Webelos and Arrow of Light Scouts. Today, we're going to have the opportunity to get to know a little bit more about each of our camps, as well as answer any questions that you may have. So if you have any questions that come up throughout the presentation, maybe you see something that you want additional information on, maybe we don't touch on a topic that you have questions about, we ask that you please use the Q&A function that should be on the bottom black task tab at the bottom of your screen, and just type in that question there, and then we'll have a Q&A segment and we'll do our best to get to all of your questions. All right, first up, we're going to speak about day camps.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right. So we have 13 of our 20 districts that are located here in the continental US. 13 of them are holding their own day camps. And I just closed my book because, so there's lots of opportunities. Every camp is going to be a little bit different. Most of them do offer BBs and archery. They're going to do games, scout skills, ecology. A lot of them have at least one STEM station as well. This year's theme is Off to the Races. And currently, all of our camps are being held in the month of June, with Mattapanai being the very, very first one, and starts on June 5th. And then every week throughout June after that, the last week of June, the 26th through the 30th, has actually got multiple choices for you to choose from. So if you have, if you're looking for a camp, there's definitely one near you. The prices are going to vary depending on the location you're going to. And it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're interested in going, we did open it up this year so that parents can register their scouts independent of their units. So if your pack wants to go or a parent wants to go, they just have to make sure that they're going to be able to provide that adult leadership on site, because we won't. So please make sure your kids are, if you're going to register independently, that you've got that parent or that guardian, somebody who's coming with them all days, because we do have to maintain a 5-to-1 ratio with the scouts. Anything else? I don't know.
Ryan, it's over to you for Snyder.
Sweet. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight. We want to value your time and talk about It's a Mystery. So I know a lot of you are familiar with Camp Snyder, but if you're not, our theme this year is going to be a mystery. So we're going to have lots of mysteries to solve over Camp Snyder this summer, which is going to be a very exciting time. Snyder has two options in the summer. We have 2 day camps. So just like Kelly was talking about their day camps, Snyder also offers 2 day camps. If you were to go to the council website, you're also going to see there's 4 districts that are listed that typically come to Snyder since you're close. That's Cambridge, George Mason, Prince William, and Piedmont. You'll see the link automatically takes you to the Snyder website. So we have 2 different options. Some of the cool things about the day camp at Snyder is, one of the things I always like to mention is the wood shop. It's just a cool activity that is one of the activities we slide into the 6 spots or 7 spots that we do throughout the day. Is you get to go to a fully functional wood shop and build something. And each year the project changes. And then we have the other things like Kelly mentioned, also BBs, archery. We have the pool. So that's kind of a nice feature for Snyder that we like to use. So the pool is a good activity. We try to get you in there as much as possible. And then we have a STEM shop, our STEM lab also. So we try to really focus on some STEM activities too. So that's the kind of traditional day camp that kind of mirrors for the people who are close here or can't attend another option. Snyder's always available for that. And also this year, it's a mystery for our resident weekend. So the theme we have always goes through to both. If you aren't familiar with resident weekends at Camp Snyder, we have basically 4 weekends, what we call resident weekends. They're check-in Thursday night after dinner and leave Saturday morning after Sunday morning after a continental breakfast. And what that is it's basically 3 nights of camping, 2 full days of activities. All the tents are set up in the campsites. You don't have to worry about tents. All the food is provided in the dining hall. So it's basically like a mini camp, but it's just 3 nights. And it's really one of our most popular activities here because it happens to fall at the end of the week. So you only have to take that 1 day off work on Friday to attend one of these. And then you get a lot of activities produced by our camp staff that are really, really exciting and really are enjoyable throughout the summer. So those are an option too. And I know there may be questions about them, so I won't talk about every little detail on them, but the program in those also mirrors what we do at day camp. So it's just, we try to mix extra things in, like maybe the climbing tower or a few of those extra things we try to mix in, but the 2 mirror each other. And the question I get a lot is, do people sometimes come to a different day camp or our day camp and come to resident weekend? Most definitely. We get that a lot. So you may go to, the Washington, D.C. day camp and then decide, hey, I just loved it. I would like to do some overnight camping and come to our resident weekend or go down to Goshen. That happens a lot. So I just want to make sure that people know that is available. And it's Rising Tigers through Rising Webelos. Like Kelly said, we have the same requirements. If your pack is coming for a resident weekend, we require two leaders to start, which gets you 10 scouts. So that 1 to 5 that was mentioned. So, and then after that, you need to provide more. But for your first 2 leaders, which you're required to have, get you up to 10 scouts. So that's kind of a start there and goes from there. So I'll turn it back over, but we're excited to see everybody this summer. And in the question thing, if you have any questions for us, let us know.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
And Drew, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. So Camp Ross is like Elizabeth said, is our Webelos and AOL week-long residential camp at Goshen. It's a great opportunity for your scouts to come out and get an opportunity to feel like what scout camp's going to be like when they eventually cross over into scouting. While we do have our first and second years, we also allow for den chiefs to come. So if you have a rising BSA youth who want to come for a 3rd year, they're welcome to as a den chief. If you have any den chiefs within your pack, that's also welcome. We have 6 week-long sessions. Our week-long sessions last from Sunday to Saturday. arrival is on Sunday, and departure is just continental breakfast and leaving by Saturday morning. We have several different program areas. Our 6 main ones are aquatics, where you can swim and a boat, and we also have, as you can see in the picture, 30-foot wide water trampoline that the kids love. We also have a BB range and archery that allow kids to kind of get used to shooting sports and the rules that go along with that. We have our nature area where kids can hold turtles or snakes and interact with them, and also learn about the stuff around them. Our Scoutcraft or Scoutcraft area where they learn the basics of knots and fire building. Handicraft, you get to make amazing different activities. You can make tie-dye shirts, paracord bracelets, as I have one on. But it's a great thing that you can make there and bring home. And then something we're bringing back, if you at camp last year, we didn't have it, but Quest will be coming back. Quest is our Weeb 2 program that or your AOL program that allows the returning scouts to have a little extra activity. We're still working on what exactly that'll be, but it's gonna be, I know it's gonna be really fun, and we have some great ideas coming through. With that, I'm gonna hand it back over to Elizabeth.
Drew, can you give us a little insight on what the theme is going to be at Ross this year?
I don't know how I totally skipped it. Our theme this year is Sherlock Ross in the case of the disappearing camps. Help our staff solve the mystery before it's too late for Camp Ross. Yeah.
So for those diehard PMIers out there, expect a few really bad jokes. We're sorry in advance. Another note about the water trampoline, Drew said that it's super fun for scouts, but I've been begging to go on it for years, so super fun for adults as well.
Absolutely.
All right, we know that you all are going to have a few questions, but you never know, we might answer them here. So we're going to move on to some frequently asked questions that we hear throughout our off-season operations. I'm going to hand that over to Sarah to talk about.
All right. So one of the questions we get most frequently, which kind of scout or which kind of camp is the best fit for my scout? So it depends on what age groups you have. If you have tigers, rising Webelos, anything in there, day camp and Camp Snyder are going to be where you want to look. AOLs can attend those programs as well. For Webelos and AOLs, Camp Ross is also going to be a great place to go. What program length are you looking for? So daytime programs would be day camp. Overnight opportunities, if you're looking for the shorter one, like Ryan said, that'll be Camp Snyder for your 3-night, 2-day program. And then Camp Ross has your week-long program. All right, and each one has slightly different adult requirements. District day camps and Camp Snyder are very similar. It's at least 1 registered adult for every 5 Cub Scouts. Rising Tigers at the district day camps and at Camp Snyder need to be accompanied by their tiger partner. And then Camp Ross is at least 1 registered adult for every 4 Webelos. So you have to have at least 2 adults at any of the camps. And this is pack provided leadership. And then on screen, we've got some of our fees. Day camp, as Kelly said, the prices vary by the district and by the location. Camp Ross, you can see the fees there. The early bird deadline for Camp Ross is April 14th at 11:59 p.m. So if you want to get that early rate, any scout you get in by that date will receive the early bird price. Any scout you register after that date will get the regular price. And if you get them in by the early bird, they will also get the 2023 Goshen hat. And then Ryan, do you want to talk a little bit about the Camp Snyder fees? You're on mute again.
Yeah, it's unmuted. Yeah, most definitely. So one of the things that Sarah just mentioned is pay attention to ours is also, April 15th is when that early bird price is. So, pay close attention to that. The one thing to remember, especially when you're talking about day camp, is if you're coming to the Snyder day camp, lunch is also included in that price in our dining hall. So that's that's just one thing to remember. And then when we talk about the resident weekends, these are the listed prices. So look at the April 15th again, and remember that all those meals are provided in the dining hall. So 3 meals a day, starting Friday morning through Sunday breakfast.
All right, so we're going to leave up this screen for a little while, but just some general resources. First of all, this webinar is being recorded, and so that is going to be posted along with our slides, which you're viewing here with us on weownadventure.com. That's weownadventure.com, and that is NCAC's blog spot where you know, you might see articles about what your local PACs are doing, or about information for family camp that both Goshen and Snyder do. So if you have any additional questions or need some resources, like maybe you want to look at our leader's guide, or you want to send Drew an email asking questions about Ross after this webinar is over, these are our websites. Generally, a good rule of thumb for remembering is you go, where am I going to go to summer camp this year? And you're going to go to Snyder, or go to day camp, go to Goshen.org for all of them. So we're going to transition into our questions portion. I see that we've got quite a few questions piling up there. So please use the Q&A area to put any of your questions. And we're going to allow Sarah to facilitate that area. Again, I'm going to put up our resources page. So if you need to write down what our websites are, please feel free to go ahead.
All right, so we'll do the first question will be for Drew. Can you speak to the coffee situation at Camp Ross?
We absolutely offer coffee every morning at Camp Ross. But if you have a specific flavor, I would suggest bringing your own method of coffee. But we offer coffee for all of our adults at camp.
All right, so the next question is, when you talk about a theme for a camp, what does that mean? What kind of activities or events is that presented in? So why don't we start with, how do themes work at Camp Snyder, Ryan?
Yeah, well, you know, when you talk about a theme, our goal is to really encompass that theme into each program area. So when we say it's a mystery, we're going to basically imagine as if you're writing a script. We're doing the same thing. So we're writing that script around that mystery, and what's included in that is those 6 or 7 program areas that we do. So when you go to handicraft, the activity base there is going to be something about a mystery. And each area you go to is going to follow that mystery theme. And then what we try to do to wrap it all together is to have one overcompassing, whether it's searching for, whether you're a detective searching for who something missing, or whatever the case may be. We try to wrap all those program areas up into the overcompassing theme by one final activity that you may do throughout the day. So our goal is to really make sure that when you leave here, it's not like we just had a theme. It's like, oh, I can see how that theme kind of reached into each area and was really a building block onto each other.
All right, and Drew, how about at Ross? How do themes work at Ross?
It's definitely a little bit similar to Snyder with how we incorporate into our different program areas. We try to add small things here and there that complement our different types of programs that we offer. But we, with the whole week, throughout the whole week, starting from our opening campfire to our closing campfire, we have an ongoing storyline, kind of like Shakespeare in the Park going on with our staff performing skits at breakfast and dinner every night for the scouts, with a nice story to see that the scouts can participate in with some activities, but also watch and unfold right before they get to go eat. So it's a nice little show that we try to put on for the scouts and the adults, and it's a lot of fun for both them and the staff as well.
And Kelly, how does the theme work at day camps?
So pretty similar. However, since each of our camps are a little bit different, the only thing I can really guarantee is everyone will get a shirt that's themed and everyone will get a patch that's got the same theme. But all of our program directors at each camp have control over what the program actually is. We do have some of the scouts, some camps will have, since it's off to the races, they're going to do block races, which is essentially a lazy way of doing a Pinewood Derby race, because it's hard to cut up a car out at camp where you may or may not have electricity. We're gonna have, you know, lots of different just race themes. It's not necessarily all car races. I know some of the camps are really big on like horse racing. Not that we'll have horses that I know of yet, but that, you know, they're gonna have different themes that run with the race theme in different ways.
All right, thanks everyone. Drew, can you talk a little bit about how the dining hall works at Camp Ross? You're on mute.
Yeah,
There you
sorry.
go.
Absolutely. So at Camp Ross, we have amazing dining hall. We have our meals served in a family dining style. So all the food is laid out. You can actually sign up at one of our leaders meetings to help the staff set up the meetings. It's called our waiter dens. So you can help set up the food. So our breakfast and dinner are family style. So it's just all on the stuff. And if you need extras, you go up to the kitchen. And then for our lunch, we have an open lunch. So you come up to the kitchen during lunchtime, you grab your lunch, and you can go anywhere in camp with your lunch outside of program areas, of course.
All right, and while we're on the dining hall, can you talk a little bit about how food allergies work?
Yes. So there is a correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah. There is an option to put any allergies that you have when you register for camp. For them, we absolutely will accommodate. Camp Ross, and I want to say all of Goshen is nut free. Is that correct?
That's correct. All the
Yeah.
Goshen Scout reservation camps are entirely nut-free. That includes peanut and tree nuts. We're also aware that one of the emerging allergens right now is sesame oil. So that's something we're trying to stay away from.
So if you like sun butter sandwiches, we have plenty of those there at Camp Ross for you.
I'm going to jump in on the menu. We've got a new food service director at Goshen who's formerly, for those of you who have attended Goshen, Camp Ross specifically in the past, Whitney Spearman, who was the kitchen manager last year, is taking over all of food service at Goshen, and she's created a new menu that we're hoping will go live, beginning of April timeframe. That includes a whole new standard menu for the dining halls, even patrol cooking camps for those that's getting into the Scouts BSA side, including an entirely vegetarian menu. So that's something to look forward to. So please definitely, when you're registering your Scouts, check their med forms, check with their parents about what those dietary restrictions and allergies may be, knowing if they're gluten-free, knowing if they have, other allergens or dietary restrictions to be aware of. Indicating that before they come to camp is always really helpful as we're looking at ordering the proper food that's needed. But you're also able to meet with the kitchen staff upon arrival. I know they always made a point of that at Camp Ross last year.
All right, Kelly, I've got a day camp question for you. Is there a Den Walker orientation this year?
Each camp should be holding their own Den Walker orientation. So it just depends on your camp. I know traditionally when I was a day camp director, I always did them on Sunday before. So there should be, but it'll be up to your district's day camp director or program director when that'll be held.
Excellent. Ryan, I've got a Snyder question.
Sure.
For resident camp at Snyder, can a single Scout with their registered leader or parent attend if the rest of the pack doesn't attend?
That's a two-step question or two-step answer, really, because it gets a little bit tricky because we got to remember we it's camping at basically at a pack level. So, and we have to still meet the YPT or the adult requirements. So the answer is we need to take that case by case. So the best thing to do is to either call and talk to Stephanie or email camp.snyder. It's on our website at scouting.org. And we'll see. Sometimes what's happened is a family can't come or excuse me, a parent and the Scout are not able to attend for some reason. And we can squeeze them into another pack and they can become part of that pack for a week. But it's really on a case by case basis. There's not a set ahead of time because we have to really do a lot of back end stuff to make that happen. But the answer is yes, it can happen. We just have to be heavily involved and get it approved.
Excellent. All right. Drew, can you talk about what the accommodations are like at Camp Ross?
For tenting specifically, or
Tenting, yes.
okay. At Camp Ross, we have I'm gonna mess up the measurements.
A 7x9.
Thank you. A 7x9 platform with a canvas tent on top with 2 cots in it. Yeah, 2 cots within 1 tent. Everyone's expected to have a tent buddy. We got everyone's expected to have a tent buddy, including adults. Every site is split up into the amount of subsites. So I would say about 8 tents per subsite, and we range from 1 subsite to 4 subsites per site. At each site, we have a latrine with a place to fill up water balls and wash your hands, and to go to the restroom as well. Yeah.
Excellent. And Ryan, what are the accommodations like at Camp Snyder?
Similar to Camp Ross, the only thing that's different about ours is we have platforms like they do. We do have raised platforms, and our tents are what traditionally a lot of people might call staff tents. They're 4 scout tents. So instead of being a 2 scout tent, 4 people can sleep in each one of our tents is how we set it up, whether that's adult or youth. So, same on that line, except instead of having 2, we have 4 in each tent. And we do that. We do a lot of that. We do all that work on our side before you get here. So when you get here, you're assigned to a campsite. You know what tents you are. You have what we call a staff guide waiting for you in the campsite to help you with anything you need or to unload your car for you, whatever you need. So we take care of that on our end, so it's ready for you.
Since we're talking about accommodations for both Snyder and Ross, could we talk about the shower house situation and what people might expect when they come?
Sure.
I'll go first. At Camp Ross, we have single stall showers, 1 person per shower, and yeah, that's what we have. The closed locked doors. There's a chair, a water mat, and the shower stall.
And at Ross as well, for you adults that might be missing home a little bit, there are flushable toilets available at that shower house. It's one large communal shower house for the entirety of Camp Ross, but many, many stalls to choose from.
Yes.
So at Snyder, we have sort of the same concept, a little bit different. About every 4 campsites have a shower house. So we have 4 shower houses back for the campsites. They are divided into 4 sections, male, female, boys, girls. And in each one of those sections is showers, flushable toilets, single shower curtains with, for the taking showers. Plus each shower also has 2 shower curtains because it has a little changing area. So you have a little bit more, you get kind of the double shower curtain thing going on. So that's kind of how it's divided here.
All right. And while we're talking about that, Drew, at Camp Ross, the campsite facilities, the latrine facilities, are they separate for boys and girls or individual stalls or what?
They are individual stalls yeah, so they're just individual stalls. They're not separated by boys or girls.
All right. Kelly, what is a den walker?
So a den walker is typically a parent who will stay with the den for the day. Each pack is required to send 2 den walkers, and then that will give them 10 scouts that they can bring with us or with you. If you have 11 scouts, you need to have 3 den walkers, and a tiger parent does not count as a den walker. They need to have their own parent. They're not, if they can't double dip as a den walker and a tiger parent. That's pretty much, the long and short of it. It's just a parent who's able to take that day and spend the day out at camp and have a great time, because most of the parents have a good time as well.
All right, Drew, next question is for you. For Ross, will scouts be able to identify activity preferences before arriving at camp? How do the activities work at camp? What's the schedule like?
Yeah, so on Monday and Tuesday, we have a set rotation where you will have the opportunity to go to every single one of our main 6 program areas. So you go from like aquatics to BVs to archery within a 6-block time frame throughout the day. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is a sign up that we do at camp. So on Monday night, we'll have a leaders meeting where the program director will talk about all the different programs and give you guys the opportunity to sign up through our sign up sheets. Those programs, the list of programs, if you want to take a look at them, are on our website that's listed there. If you go down to downloads, it is the program guide. That lists a lot of our programs that we offer if you want to get an idea before going to camp. But all sign up for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday programs and will happen on that Monday, Tuesday basis. So we'll talk about it on Monday night. You'll take the night to fill out a form and turn it in by Tuesday morning. And by Tuesday night, we'll have a full schedule to give you guys for the rest of the week.
As part of that, Drew, how does Quest work?
So Quest also works on the same basis. The only difference is you can, it works with the same sheet. You would just specify which scouts are going to the Quest activity. So you would split the group into 2, saying, if let's say you have a pack of 10, 5 scouts are going to these activities and 5 scouts are going to Quest for the morning or however long it takes. Quest specifically happens on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I should also note, on Friday, we only have a half day of schedule block, and Friday afternoon, we have an open program so the scouts can go out and do whatever they want around the camp. But Quest is specifically Wednesday, Thursday, and signed up just like the rest.
All right, this is a general question. Do the adults need to have Baloo training? Kelly, this might be a question for you.
For day camp to be a den walker, no, you do not have to be Baloo trained. You do have to have YPT, but that is the only training that I know. However, I know a lot of our day camp directors will ask if you're CPR certified, because den walkers CPR certification boosts our camp standard numbers for how many CPR certified people we have on site, and that's good stuff.
And for those of us at Goshen, you don't need to have Baloo either, and I imagine it's the same at Snyder.
Correct.
All right, Kelly, another question for you. I know some of the camps are still working on getting their locations. Do you know when Sully District is thinking about?
Sully has a different situation going on in that they can't find a week that works for those who run it and work for council. So we're kind of going back and forth. Hopefully in the next week or so, we'll have that nailed down, as well as anybody who's wondering where Goose Creek is. I did get an update that Goose Creek is like a smidge away from signing a contract for a location. So we should know very soon on both of those camps.
Excellent. Drew, what time is check-in at Ross?
It is at 1 o'clock. I want to say 1 o'clock. So you arrive at 1 o'clock. We have a similar thing at Snyder where we have a site guide that will help you take your stuff out to your site and get you all sorted and give you a tour of the camp. So 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock, and then we have dinner. So. Yeah.
All right, and I see we have a couple of questions in here about a packing list. So I know on the Goshen site, if you go into the download section at Camp Ross, there is a packing list for Webelos and leaders. What about at Snyder, Ryan?
Yeah, same thing. If you go into our parents and leaders guide, one of the last few pages in there will list the recommended packing list. So if you just have to go to Snyder.org, and then when you click on summer camps, you'll see there's some PDF attachments, and you can open the leaders guide.
Excellent. Kelly, they're not overnight, but is there anything they need to bring to day camp?
Most day camps are going to require a lunch. It's exceptionally important that all scouts and den walkers are in closed-toed shoes. Crocs are not closed-toed shoes. So make sure you've got appropriate footwear, bring a lunch, bring a water bottle. We tend to provide those for all of our campers, but make sure you've got a bottle to put water in, and bring your lunch. That's pretty much it.
All right, so none of the day camps offer lunch. You should always bring your lunch. Yes, all right. All right. Drew, could you go over what are some of the adult leader responsibilities at Ross?
So at sorry, responsibilities, right?
Yeah, what's expected of the adult leader? What should the adult leader be doing while they're at Ross?
Definitely, making sure your packets to where they need to be on time. Alongside like any other like general pack leadership, making sure all your scouts are having fun, working with them, if there's anything that's a problem with there. But for your main leaders at camp, there's also we have 4 leaders meetings. Sorry, I had to double check. We have 4 leaders meetings that happen on Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and on Thursday during the day, where we go over important information. We suggest that 1 or 2 leaders go to that to bring back to your packs information about like how camp's going to run, game schedules, that type of stuff. Another probably one of the biggest things that I think is important for the adults at camp is also to have fun. You guys are there for a week. I would suggest, we more than encourage the adults to like have fun and do some of the activities. We always welcome help at our areas with our area directors. You feel free to ask the area director. They're more than likely to be like, yeah, absolutely. Welcome to help out there. But in most cases, it's just making sure your pack's having a fun time, making sure they get to where they need to go, making sure you have a few leaders show up for our leaders meetings.
All right, and this is for Ryan and Kelly. Is there a difference between the district day camps at Camp Snyder and the day camp at Camp Snyder that are listed on the same weekends? Are these different programs? Oh wait, I can answer that. No, they're the same. So it's 2 different websites to get to the same place for the day camps at Snyder. It's just those districts have their program at Snyder because it's close. All right. Here's a fun one for Drew. Camp Ross says the left icy tastes different than the right. I assume they mean slushies. It was a hot topic in the pack last summer.
Oh, now I'm trying to remember which flavors and which one. Well, I'm gonna, I don't know what flavor it is. I'm gonna have to go with the right side is the better tasting one. Just my opinion,
And Ryan, you all also have slushies, yes?
And the left side's the best, so
Oh.
All right, what is the internet situation like? If parents would like to attend but have some telework responsibilities, what is the internet like at Camp Snyder, Ryan?
We have full internet inside the dining hall, and it does broaden out a little far, but if you're no Wi-Fi in the campsites for sure. But when you get around the dining hall, we do have high-speed internet fiber up at the dining hall that everybody's more than welcome to use, and it's really fast and it's really good network, so we have that available.
All right, and this one I might actually direct to Elizabeth. What is our internet situation like at Goshen?
At each of our camps at Goshen, including our headquarters as well as Camp Ross, we have Wi-Fi cards that are available generally in the leaders' lounges. So I know at Camp Ross, that's a part of their admin building. It's one of the first buildings that you come to when you enter the camp, and the staff will have the username and the password posted, which you're welcome to use.
We do ask that you minimize streaming because it is the cell phone data tower, and we only have the one tower. All right. Let's see. Are electronics allowed? How about tablets? So I guess we'll answer this for scouts, for youth. Can youth bring their electronics? Drew, why don't we start with you?
it is discouraged for youth to bring electronics. It's one of the appeals I think of going to Goshen, specifically Camp Ross, is that you're out in the middle of nowhere and having fun. We understand that like parents have like certain things. We suggest like your point of contact be one of the adult leaders for that type of stuff. But we highly discourage any electronics or tablets for scout use. Adults, we understand we can't take your phones away. We're not going to try, but we do suggest that you guys do keep them out of view of the scout. So if you have to make phone calls, you can go to our staff lounge, our admin. Same thing with emails, that type of stuff. We suggest you do that out of view of the scouts.
Since we're talking about cell phones at Ross, I'll also bring in that the only stable and constant internet service, cell phone service that's available throughout Goshen is Verizon. So if you have T-Mobile or AT&T, Sprint, you're less likely to get any service. So Verizon's the best way to go. So definitely identify leadership who's attending within your unit that has a cell phone that functions that way. And I recommend putting them in as the main contact for parents if they have any questions about their youth that are at camp.
All right, Ryan, what's the technology situation like at Snyder?
Well, since we're so close to town, all the cell phone services work about the same. Everything works really, really good here, so you don't have to worry about that here. And then same thing as Drew mentioned, we discourage also, the tablets and things. It is, PACs do kind of set up their own things when they're come, so we're not going searching through tents grabbing tablets, but we really want, the camp staff want to bring the excitement. And we would like the excitement to be our structured program versus tablets or other things. Now I know there's some downtime at nights and campsites, but we really want to stress, hey, being talking around the campfires and those things that really make camp fun and make them, and we really want, one of our main goals is when a scout leaves is to have a memory. They're going to have that memory, that cell phone everywhere they go. So I think we really want to focus on the memories around the campfires, having those races, programs, those type of things. So we're the same thing as Ross. We highly discourage them for sure.
All right, Kelly, I've got a day camp question for you. Is it helpful for a day camp den walker to bring a wagon if they have one?
Yes, absolutely. Definitely go to that den walkers meeting beforehand to see what the terrain is like. Because if you have like one of those red metal ones with the little wheels, they might not necessarily roll real well. But if you've got one of the nice canvas ones with the bigger wheels, pretty much all of our camps are going to work great for that. And that is going to be an awesome addition to have for your day. It's going to make life a lot easier.
All right, and should scouts bring spending money to resident camp? Yes. As we mentioned with the slushies, there are also other fun things in the trading posts.
Yeah, we've got both at Snyder and at Ross, you have everything from, camp specific t-shirts that you can buy. I know we were doing inventory at Ross a few months ago and they've got, towels in case you forget them, tons of fishing equipment, really anything that you could possibly want at that trading post. So a little bit of spending money is recommended.
Also got snacks. What are some of the popular snacks at Ross, Drew?
Oh, well, I mean, you got, why am I just forgetting all snacks that we have in our thing?
All right, well, you think about it. What are some of the popular things at Snyder, Ryan?
Well, it seems like slushies always are the most popular, no matter what. Slushies and ice cream seem to be the two most popular things, but we also try to mix in, in the dining hall, especially, we have a fruit bar, so you can get some healthy options too. So we try to mix those in a little bit to kind of do both sides.
All right, Drew, did you think of any?
Yeah, I have a few. So we have loads of different types of ice cream that we offer. I can't name any specific brands, I'm sorry. I know we have ice cream sandwiches. But we have lots of different ice creams. So we also have different sodas and such. A lot. We have chocolate bars. I think we've had Starburst before and stuff like that. Outside of just like the most popular thing, I mean, of course, slushies. The most popular thing that came to mind for me, which isn't a snack, was harmonicas. For some odd reason at Camp Ross, kids love harmonicas. but outside of that, we have a bunch of variety. We try to throw in like some healthy stuff, but oftentimes the kids choose not to grab it, sadly. But
Yeah, you have things like Nutri-Grain bars and other supplemental snacks and materials other than just what we classify as junk food available at all of our camps. Healthy eating is important, but that's also available in the dining hall. I know that at Ross, if you want some extra fruit, last year they had an entire fruit bar that was essentially out and available all day long with apples, oranges, pears, different depending on what week and what was available.
All right. While we're on trading posts, approximately how much spending money should we recommend scouts bring to Ross or Snyder for that matter?
For Ross, I think it depends on, depends. I've seen people bring vary from $20 to $100. It varies. I would say somewhere in between those amounts, fine, but it's definitely up to the parents of how much they want to spend. I would say let them have some money because there are like cool like things like knives and stuff that they can't, knives, shirts, hats, that type of stuff that they can buy there. So around at minimum I would say around $20, but if you want to do more than that, that is up to you and the parents.
We
All right.
definitely recommend, sorry, Sarah, we
Go
definitely
ahead.
recommend speaking with your pack leadership, depending on your scouts' ages, whether they're going to, district day camp, Snyder, Ross, and their level of responsibility with money and finances. Maybe a pack leader wants to be in charge of all of that and has a separate envelope for each scout. So a lot of that's going to be up to your parents, but also speak with your pack leadership about how they're managing something along those lines.
All right, the next two I'm going to take, if I can figure out where I put them. So there's one about the maximum size of packs at Ross. So there is no maximum size of pack. You can bring as many people as you want, but once you've registered, please email me at sarah.moses@scouting.org, just to make sure there's still room for the additional people you want to bring if you're bringing more people than you had originally estimated. And also, can individuals without a pack attend? So the smallest unit size at Ross is 1 scout and 1 parent guardian. If the parent guardian can't attend, they need to find another pack to attend with. So you either need to attend with a parent guardian or with a pack. And the other one was about scouts with special needs. If you have any scouts that have special needs at any of our camps, we love all scouts. Please send us an email in advance to make sure that we can accommodate your scout, and just so we have a heads up. So camp.ross@gotogoshen.org for Ross, camp.snyder@scouting.org for Snyder, and then day camp, email your day camp director. All right. What's the charging? So if someone wants to charge their phone at Camp Ross, Drew, where would they do that?
We offer outlets and charging locations at our Leo Lounge and right outside of our program office. So there's places to charge throughout that building. We also do have some outlets within the dining hall, which often get taken up real quick. But we do try to like have an area we have a few power strips located within our with our leaders lounge, so that you can charge your phone.
All right, we had a couple questions going back to the trading posts. Are the stores cash only? We accept cash and credit cards.
We also have Apple Pay at Camp Ross and all the Goshen places. So if you just want to tap your card or pay through Apple Pay on your phone, that's also available.
All right, Elizabeth, do you want to talk a little bit about the CPAP policy at Goshen?
Sure. So those of you who have been to Goshen before, you may notice there's a slight change in our leader's guide regarding CPAP machines. this year and, for the next foreseeable future. If you have a CPAP machine, you're welcome to bring it. I know that that's necessary for many individuals. However, we are not able to provide batteries or power cords due to liability concerns. So what we're recommending for that is finding a portable battery. I know that several backpackers have had success in various portable batteries for their CPAP machines that they're able to recharge in those leaders lounges and other charging areas. So if you have further questions on CPAPs, I'm happy to answer them. I'll go ahead and put my my email directly into the chat so you can copy and paste that.
All right. Drew, can you describe in more detail, but not too much detail, what the latrines are like at Goshen?
So latrines are because I could see the question. They're the bacteria. So the bacteria eats everything. We don't use any sawdust or ash like that. So outside of that, do your business and that's all good.
All right. And are there any specific COVID restrictions still in place? Elizabeth, I'll address this question to you.
Or as of now, we don't have a particular policy regarding COVID-19 practices and procedures. That's something that we're going to be working with our emergency risk committee, as well as our council position with as we get closer to camp, just because it's a continually changing situation. So for those of you going to Camp Snyder, you receive a once a month leader update. That will become more frequent as you get closer to camp. And you can expect to see changes or updates along there as we get closer, let's say April, May, June timeframe. And I would just say as a blanket for all of our camps, check the website. They generally have a COVID-19 section that we keep updated as the council is giving us recommendations.
All right, and we've got time for a few more questions. Drew, how far away is the parking area from the campsites at Ross?
So our campsite is depending on the site. Our inner sites, site 1, 2, and 3, are about a football field's away, easily enough where you can carry all your gear out. For our outer sites, they are a little bit of a hike. Big stuff. So like if you have totes, if you have like pop-ups, that type of stuff, we will have the ability to take that stuff out to you guys for the sites. The trails are a little rough out to our outer sites, so we don't allow you guys to take your vehicles up there, but we will take the big stuff up, and the rest of the stuff will be carried up by you, your scouts, and your site guide. And that can vary from no more than half a mile walk at max, but most it'll be a little shorter than that.
If you're curious about where your campsite is located in retrospect to the parking lot itself, if you go to goshen.org/Ross, there is a copy of their camp map available, and that shows both the area locations for your programs as well as your campsites.
All right, and we've got a question about swim tests. So Drew, how do swim tests work at Ross?
So our swim checks happen on Monday. On Monday during program, that's the Monday program for aquatics. All the scouts will go through, and then if we have time, adults. At Ross we have all the scouts go through the swim check. Unless they don't want to, then they'll get a non-swimmer. We want that so the aquatics director can have eyes on like who's swimming, because it is a lake, it is an open lake, and some people swim differently depending on if they're in the lake or see the pool. So we do all of our swim checks within the lake on our first day.
Before we move over to Snyder, about swim checks, also at Camp Ross, all of our adult swim checks occur at a separate time from the scout swim checks. So look at your program schedule or email Drew for further information.
All right, and Ryan, how do the swim tests work at Ross? at Snyder, sorry.
You've got really two options. If you're coming for a day camp, you're going to be in the pool every day. So usually the first day is allocated towards swim checks, or at least the first section of it is allocated towards swim checks. If you're coming for a resident weekend, you check in on Thursday night after dinner. So what we recommend everybody do is do their swim check that night. So then they go both days in the pool without having to worry about redoing or taking a swim test. They get 2 days of fun then. The council is also going to have, you've probably seen it on the aquatics website or the council website. I think it's June 3rd and 4th. The council's hosting advanced swim checks again, like we have in the previous years, that you can sign up for. I think the sign up is live. So that's available for some people that like to take them early or have to for certain reasons. But you can talk to the aquatic committee or a camp or one of the camp directors for that need.
All right, and then we'll take this as the final question. When will you know what campsite you're in? Let's start with Ross.
Yeah. So you'll find out when you most packs will find out when they get there on Sunday. Due to like some number shifting and stuff, we set up the sites as we go. Sometimes we have people drop and go. We fit you guys so that all your pack will be in the same site. You'll show up Sunday, your site guide will meet you and take you out to your site. If you have a specific site request, you can do that through either emailing me at camp.ross@go-to-goshen or doing it when you register as well.
All right, and Ryan, how about at Snyder?
Yeah, you get your campsite assignments when you arrive. The only thing to remind, if you have a special need that requires anything different, let us know, whether that may be a ADA need or something like that, because we do have certain sites that are a lot easier to navigate for those reasons. So please reach out to us ahead of time. Otherwise, you get assigned when they get here. All the tents are set up. All the sites are basically the same per se. I know that's not everybody always loves that, but they are similar. Each one has 9 tents in them. They are set up about the same. Everybody's got a pavilion. So yeah, so you find those out when you get here. But otherwise, if you have a special need or request, send it to us ahead of time, and we'll do everything we can to meet that need.
Sarah, can I hop in for one more thing?
Sure.
Same thing at Ross. If you have like a certain ADA need or special need, we can work with you. Like I said, email us. Also, I will say, with recommendations outside certain medical stuff, I cannot guarantee that you will get the site that you wanted, just because we may have all the same packs for that week. Asking for that stuff, we'll try our best to accommodate, but sadly we can't guarantee that. So.
All right, and we're coming up on the 8 o'clock. We're already there.
Well, if you have, if we weren't able to get to any of your questions, again, this resource page, if you go to any of our websites, each of our contact information is available. Please feel free to send us an email or give us a call. We're always happy to chat and talk about camp forever and ever, and we'll never stop. So thank you all so much for coming. It's been a joy getting to talk about camp with everybody here from the council. Once again, this was a recorded session and will be posted on weownadventure.com, both the PowerPoint itself as well as the recording, and we're really looking forward to seeing you all at camp this year. All right, thank you so much, and all have a good evening.